Listening is waiting. Listening is waiting. Now you are knee deep in your head's footnotes and your eyes are closing. I'll take your complex out of context and you can stop your posing. I've been listening to you talking.
Just curious about, it seems like in some ways an entrance for you in the musical, but it's really a powerful culminating moment as well.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I always wonder how many people really understand, you know, this is Stu's life and he's looking at himself, and I am a person in Stu's life, and I'm in the band, and we're making a musical, and we're trying to stay very true to ourselves. And Stu and I were a couple for 10 years, you know.
And we broke up while the musical was happening.
And so it's interesting because I think when people do this play now, it's, you know, I mean, you know, you hope people will do it in their own way. They're not just going to be, you know, some actor trying to do Stu, and, you know, because this is really our lives, and we were trying to keep, you know, these actors, oh my God, they're, you know, beautiful voices, and we're going, let's keep a place in here for Heidi because she's the girl in the band. I've been playing with the Stu forever, right? And I would be fine not singing because I was blown away by all these actors. I mean, I would forget to play sometimes. I'm sitting there with a bass and I'm just watching everybody, and you know, this thing we created, it's so, you know, it's surreal, right? You're watching everybody, and we're keeping too. Yeah, it's very personal, and to sit there and you know, Annie Dorson, our director, we were trying to keep me in there somewhere, and it was a very true thing where Stu's looking at himself, and I'm part of this because I'm yet another woman in Stu's life, you know. So it's. Right. I don't think a lot of people, you know, get that, and it's just, we wanted to keep the band involved, and all those times when the band talks in the play, over the years when we did it, we didn't want to do that fake, you know, let's have the keyboard player say something just to keep the band. We you know, Annie Dorson, the director, was really good at saying, it just letting things happen. And when they felt real, we left them. And when they didn't feel real, they were gone. You know, we just right. we really right. really stayed with things that felt right for us. Yeah. And that moment just completely made sense. You know, it's pretty emotional.
Well, I think a lot of people. I mean, because neither of us read press that much, but I think a lot of people did know that we had broken up.
Yeah, I think the longer time goes by, people don't get it, but that's fine. Even if you don't get it, you go, the band is involved.
Yeah, you know something's going on.
Stu, and this is his band, and you know, I'm sure people are going to do the play differently, but it was really staying true to ourselves, and it felt very real, and it was very emotional, and you know.
So when you're singing, I'll take your complex out of context, and you can stop your posing, are you singing to Stu? Are you singing to the narrator?
That's a good question, because I'm, you know, you have to answer that. Stu's words, you know. I write music, but I'm not a wordsmith like Stu.
But I mean, don't you? Isn't that's a rock and roll thing, right? I mean, I think you, in rock, it's not so much who you're singing to. Yeah, it's how you sing.
It is a rock thing. There's so many things that we had to talk about when we were making this play, and we were doing a lot of defending ourselves, you know, over the years, the changes, and we defend, and it's hard to defend why music is working, you know, and it just is, right? And words are just working, and you can't always say, well, that's not. That whole song, if you take all those words, it's not really pushing the story forward.
Yeah,
you
which
know,
we got constantly.
You know, but then you just have to say, you know, it just works. It just does. You know, and that's one of those moments, right? I mean, I can't.
That's the second reason why. The first thing I was talking about was like, you know, music being subservient to narrative, but also this business of this isn't moving the play forward stuff. You know, why this scene has to earn its keep, you know? And we had this thing where the kid has this monologue or soliloquy, whatever, where after he's, had sex with this wonderful woman, or maybe two women in Amsterdam, can't remember, and he has this wonderful soliloquy, and every single artistic director and dramaturg said to us, this scene has to go, because it's nice writing, but it doesn't really push the story forward or anything. And the director and me and Heidi were like, that's our favorite part of the whole thing. And every single one, and when we did that scene in front of a bunch of Oakland teenagers and heard them just be like pin drop quiet, and there was a moment where the kid said something about, he didn't use the word orgasm, but he said, I forgot how many times I came, and I heard this kid just go, oh, wow. And I was like, fuck all you who didn't want this scene in here. You know what I mean? Because that kid, it was for that kid and all those fucking Oakland teenagers that we kept that thing in. Because just because you guys were too old and out of it and don't remember your first real orgasm doesn't mean that we don't.
And it goes as far as liking the silences, right? When the music's there and when the music's not, is just as important, and why things work. And Stu and I talk about this all the time, that we grew up on records, and the order of the record is so important, right? And that last song on the first side is so important. And Passing Strange was like that. It was like that silence right there was just perfect,
It's true. Yeah, it's funny.
You couldn't always, explain it.
Yeah.
Now that Passing Strange, the run on Broadway is over, and now their first production went on in D.C. without you, but you do have this really wonderful product of this Spike Lee film, and I'm curious, what is it like to now have that artifact looking back?
Are you kidding? It's a great, It's like I would have been in therapy still if we had finished this play, all this hard work that we did, and didn't have it documented. Because in theater, as you guys know, most of the time what they do is, you have a run on Broadway or a run at the Public Theater. They set up one stupid video camera in back that's shaky, and then they document it. Lincoln Center documents it, and then 20 years later, some kid goes and watches the shaky camera, Passing Strange, and goes, I don't get what all the fuss was, And we, again, another thing from music business, we are music people. We believe in documentation. We believe you do something, you work hard, you document it, And so when it came time to close, we knew Spike had seen the play a bunch of times, and we knew that, at least I think we felt that as long as he had the time, he would do it. And we were pretty confident that he would do it, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say the thing about Spike, because we love him so much, and he comes along and he's going to do this, and talking about defending ourselves for a long time, one of the things the producers all wanted is they wanted a real feel-good song at the end of the play, and we always said, no, it's perfect. We want it to end where it ends. And then Spike, he said what everybody else said, that song, it's all right, you really should come back. Everybody would say that, and we were like, no, fuck you, we want to do what we want to do, we don't care what you want. And then Spike Lee said, I think you should put that song at the end, and we were doing it, we're like, okay.
But he said it... Sure. But he said it in a really great way. He said it in a really fucking great way. He said, you know that song, remember that night I saw you and you did that song at the end? Where you reprised that song? Well, like, no, we've never done that, Spike. He goes, no, I know, but that one night where I remember I was there and you did the song at the end. I'm like, we've never done that ever. And he was just like, oh, but it was so great, it was so good. It was just like, and like he really instilled us with this like he kind of proved to us that it would be a good idea, because he actually, I don't think he was bullshitting. I think he actually thought or imagined that we had done that thing, and then so we're like, okay, we'll do it, But I mean, also, you know what it is? Anybody who's an artist in here, anybody who's a carpenter, if you're a carpenter, if you're an architect, are you going to listen, if you're an architect, are you going to listen to the manager of Walmart telling you what to do? No. That's how I feel as an artist dealing with a producer. I don't want you to tell me what to do. But if you are an artist that I respect, who's made like 80 million movies that I love, and I respect your vision, and you tell me something, I can believe you, because you've got an oeuvre of proof that tells me that I can believe in your eyes, that I can believe in your instinct, you know? And I mean, it was so easy to make this film with him because, I mean, he just came into my dressing room the day of shooting with a little camera, like everybody buys a little camera, and he goes, "You want to see your movie?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Here." And he set this camera in front of me, and he clicked through every shot that he was going to have in the movie, and just clicked through literally the entire movie, like every shot. We just stood there in my dressing room, and I was like, "Okay, cool, we got a cool movie now. I'm not nervous anymore. I'm just gonna walk out and be in this movie." You know what I mean? But it's like, it's easy to, producers, if they were artists, we'd trust them more. But they're not. They're trying to make money. So why would you trust them to make a statement about art?
And also to have somebody like that not only want to do it, but be really excited and passionate about it. And at that point, Stu and I, everybody, we'd done it a million times. And to have somebody like Spike Lee come along and be really excited and have this creative person being just as excited and wanting to be part of it, it's just a dream.
Yeah, it was a total dream.